Hey, this is Ray Giles. We're going to talk a little bit about how to work with HTML, and it's really the foundation. So if you really don't know how things work and you'd like to look under the hood, see why websites work the way they work, this video is for you. Okay, here you are looking at a website called W3 Schools. This is a place where you can learn everything you need to know about HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and what makes sites function and all of that fancy coding. And this is actually a very good beginner's place to get coding examples and to help you learn. So let me explain how you're going to use this website. What you're going to do first is point your browser to this web address. That's w3schools.com. Okay? Once you're there, you're going to look for the Learn HTML button. You can click that, or you can go over here and just click this because they're going to take you to the HTML foundational language anyway. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. That's the language of the internet. Your web browser reads that language. What's your web browser? Your web browser is this. This is what's using this to read this page. What does this look like to the browser? Well, to be truthful, this is the code right here that has to be written for your browser to read any kind of script to perform functions. Want to see what it looks like? Okay, let's click here. Go down to look at Tools, Web Developer. Go to the right, look for Page Source. Now you can find Page Source in some other browsers, but it's the same thing whenever you find the source, and this is really the source code of what makes your browser function. This is HTML in the beginning. So let's get started to learn how to write this code. Let's try it ourselves. Let's click that. First of all, you're looking at the left-hand side and the right-hand side of your browser. Let me zoom in a little bit. By the way, you can hold down Control and scroll your mouse wheel to zoom in and out if you want, to follow along. I put this here so I can show you how HTML basically works. What we have is hypertext markup language through what they call it marked up text. It's in color, so it'll help you to distinguish what the instructions are. Really what you're doing is you're passing instructions to your web browser. It follows your instructions and it executes it on the right-hand side. So what we have here is some basic HTML code. First thing, HTML starts with an open bracket and a closed bracket. We call them brackets, different types of names for these guys. It's the greater than or the less than symbol that you would use in mathematics. However, what you should know is that when you turn something on in the computer, in its mind, you have to turn it off. So we note HTML, as you can see here, and I'll hit enter. Even though the browser does not understand line breaks, it will not follow our instructions for that. You will see /HTML on the bottom to turn off the HTML page. Again, I'll separate that so you can see. What you need to know is when you start something, you stop it. So the browser is going to read from left to right. It's going to read across. So you're going to see it starts the header, and the header turns on. You'll note the header turns off. And in between the header, we can have a bunch of what we call meta tags. Now, we'll go through that in another video, a more advanced tutorial on this. But right now, you just need to know that there's a header for an HTML page, no footer, but a body. And in HTML version 5, we do have footers and sections. However, we're only talking about the first version of HTML, which is good for just a basic assignment. This would be a basic instruction I would give to our students. And what we're going to do is exactly this to build our first web page. So let's go back and check this out so we can start the process of how we're going to code. Let's do this. Let's do a what if question. I want to say, well, what if I wanted to change the heading? I want to say, welcome to my website. So let's put that in here and see what it looks like. Welcome to my website. All right, let's click run. Notice you actually run the script, the browser handles the action, and it actually executes the instruction, and you have your header 1 tag. Headers. There are 6 basic headers to HTML, all starting with 1 through 6. And the letters get smaller with each heading. And what you want to know is when you turn it on, you want to turn it off. So that means start my header 1 tag. Say welcome to my website. Stop the header 1 tag. Then move on to the next line and click this is a paragraph. headers automatically have what they call line breaks. You will begin to see this later. I want to have a second line down, and let's say I want to have a second header. I'll type this out, H2, close bracket, and I'll say my name is Ray, and we're going to close that with the H2. Now, if you are typing all caps for your headers or your code, your HTML, it's customary to type all caps, or if you do lowercase, upper lowercase, it's just customary to do upper lowercase. That's just good etiquette for coding, and you'll learn later on that, you know, it will not have any impact on the running. Okay, so here we are. We have the second title down here, H2 tag. Let's put another tag down here, and why don't we put something different? I'll put in here, I am a student at college. You can put your college if you want. And then I'll close it, H3. When it comes to other headers like H4, H5, you can use that, but most times we don't really go that far because then you get into bold text and it gets a little small, but I'll do that for the sake of argument so you can see what we might have here. And my major is business. And I'll close that. Now, let's run that, see what it looks like. Header tags are good for using for bold and titles, and that's really where headers come in. If you do not choose a header tag, it will be assumed by the browser this is regular text, and you'll see here this is a paragraph. You want to put a short bio in here, maybe say something like, in this website, you will learn a little bit more about me. How's that? Yeah. I'm going to put a page title here, but it won't show up. So I'll just say Ray Giles web page to start, just to see what comes in. Other than that, everything that you put inside of your web page has to be between the body tags. Note, that's what you see right here. Everything between the body tags. Okay? Let's go forward. What if we want to put a picture? Okay, let's do a picture. What you got to know about the picture is you want to find the image tag. And let's go over here. I'll show you an example. I'm going to go to Google really quick, and I'm going to type HTML picture tag. See? That's how you want to search for anything that you're looking for, or how to find links. And of course, it probably will redirect you to somewhere around W3 schools, in which case you'll be able to click that, and then we can talk about the picture tag and go through how that works. Now, don't freak out about code. That's rule number one. What you're really looking for are ways to lay out your information properly, but we'll talk about that later on. Here, you have a picture tag, and I'll explain this to you. You see this image source? That's the picture tag right here. It's really just that basic. We're going to use this, but let's go back to our first editor. We're going to type the image tag. Open bracket, IMG, SRC, and be careful about inverting these letters. I've done it before. You know, you could type SCR, sometimes it's SRC, and then you're going to put a hashtag just to start it off. Type that in there now. Everything to the browser is an object. Images, the picture, the page, you know, those kinds of things are objects. Okay, go ahead, type that in there, and then we'll go look for a picture online really quick. Images can be located dynamically, and they can be located locally. What do I mean? Okay, let's say this web page is sitting inside of a folder and it's being served on a web server. What I want to do is reference the picture that says ray.jpg. Okay, if I do that, ray.jpg has to be sitting next to this file. Wherever this file is sitting, it's got to know where ray.jpg is. In some cases, where you have the images sitting inside of a folder, we normally do images, which comes from a location in the server, and it's images. So I type in images there and run, and you should see that. But in the case of pictures that are dynamic, which is what we need, we can't use this. The picture has to be sitting somewhere on the internet in order for us to reference it. Now, I had to go search for a picture online. You might be able to find a picture of yourself online. This is a picture of me. And it happens to be an Instagram. So this is my good friend, Angela. She's a comedian. We're going to put this picture in here, and I'm going to show you how you can do a little bit of, semi-nice hacking to get the picture. But this might and might not work for you, but you really want to know if you can. You right-click on a picture that you can find, if you're allowed to use it. And you're going to go down here inside of Firefox and look for View Image. That's what you want to find. And you click it. Now see the URL at the top. That's what you want right there. You want that URL. So you have to click that. It might be very long, but what you want to do is copy that. Let me copy that really quick. Go back to my editor. Look for my code and go between your quotations and paste. Run. And there you have your picture.